Good afternoon everybody. So this is the continuation of the class of functions and relations, probably the last class of functions and relations. In the last class I have explained you how to write the Hayes diagram for a given relation and how to check it is a partial order. Continuation of that class, 3 more problems are left out, so we will do that problems. What is that problem means? Draw the Hayes diagram for the relation R on a set A whose matrix is given. Matrix is given, in that, from that you have to write your Hayes diagram. Okay. So what is the matrix given? MR is equal to, okay, the set is on the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, all ones, then 0, 0, triple 1, then triple 0, 1, 0, finally all zeros with 1. So what is the set A? A is the set with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements whose matrix is given. So we have to draw the Hayes diagram for this relation which is given in the form of the matrix. So first I should write what is the relation R. What is the relation? 1, 1, first element appears, second one 0, leave it, third one 1, 3, 1, 4, then 1, 5. 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, then 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, then 3, 1, 3, 2 is not there, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, okay, 3, 5, and only 2 elements 4, 4, 5, 5, sorry, 5, 5, correct? This is the set. So 1, 1, 1, 2 is not there, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, then 2, 1 is not there, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, 3, 1, 3, 2 is not there, 3, 3, 3, 4, 3, 5, then 4, 4, 4, 5. How to write the Hayes diagram? First eliminate all reflexive elements, then eliminate the transitive elements, 1, 3, 3, 4, therefore 1, 4 is not required. Similarly 1, 3, 3, 5, so 1, 5 is not required. 2, 3, 3, 4, so 2, 4 is not required. 2, 3, 3, 5, so 2, 5 is not required. So what are the elements we have? 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 4 and 3, 5, only these elements we have. So how to write the Hayes diagram? 1, 1, 2, 3, any other element is missing? 2, 3, 3, 4, no, 3, 4, 3, 5 is not coming, good. So that's all. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 2 to 3, one more element 2 we can take, so 2 to 3, so 1 to 3, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 3 to 5, so 3 to 4, then 3 to 5. So this is the Hayes diagram for the given matrix. Already we have discussed how to write the Hayes diagram only in the upward direction. Upward direction you have to write, remove all reflexive elements, remove transitive elements, only remaining thing we have to write. So 1 to 3, 2 to 3, then 3 to 4, 3 to 5. Now you check any element, you will get it. For example 2, 4 I have cancelled. How you are getting 2, 4? 2 to 3, 3 to 4, therefore 2 to 4 is there. Similarly 2, 5, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, so 2 to 5 is there. Okay. So this is the first example. Now other 2 examples I am going to show you. Suppose Hayes diagram is given, how to write the relation? Suppose Hayes diagram will be given to you. What are all the elements we have left out in the Hayes diagram? We have left the reflexive elements and the transitive elements. So what is the Hayes diagram given? See this, this is 1, 2, 3, then here one element 4, then one element 5, other element 6. Totally there are 6 elements. How the Hayes diagram is? 1 to 4, then 2 to 5 and 3 to 5. So 5 to 6, 5 to 6, then 4 to 6. This is the Hayes diagram given to us. This is the Hayes diagram given to us. How to write the relation R from this one? What is the problem? The Hayes diagram of a partial order R on the set A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is given below. Write down the subset A cross A, construct its digraph. So digraph also you have to construct. Digraph you can construct it. I am writing the relation. First 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. So first write the reflexive elements 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Because in the Hayes diagram first statement we take is remove all reflexive elements. Then that's why, so in the relation first we have to write the reflexive elements. Afterwards what are all the elements available? 1, 4, 1, 4, 4, 6. What is it transitive? 1, 4, 4, 6. It transitive is 1, 6. Don't look into the downwards, only upward direction, because Hayes diagram will be given in the form of upward direction. So 1, 4, 4, 6, then 1, 6. Then 2, 5, 5, 6, 2, 5, 5, 6. Its composition or transitive 2, 6. Then 3, 5, 3, 5, 5, 6. Therefore 3, 6. So these are all the elements in the relation R. You can write the digraph for this. There is a one more thing it is asked. So we have done lot of problems on digraphs. So how to write relation I am showing you. First write all reflexive elements. Then what are all the elements available? Once again I am telling 1, 4, 4, 6. So 1, 6. 2, 5, 5, 6. Therefore transitive 2, 6. 3, 5, 5, 6, therefore 3, 6. So all the elements we got it. Okay. So one more idea is there in this, draw the digraph, you can draw that. Same way let us take one more Hayes diagram. Let us take one more Hayes diagram, that is determine the matrix of the partial order whose Hayes diagram is given below. What is the diagram, Hayes diagram given to you? 1. Then 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, then 2 to 4. So this is the Hayes diagram given to you. 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 for 3 to 5, 2 to 4. So this is the Hayes diagram given to you. First write the relation R, then matrix. As usual, write first all reflexive elements 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are there. So for all the 5 first write the reflexive element, that's what we cancel first while writing the Hayes diagram. So now we are writing first the reflexive elements. Then 1 to 2 is available, 2 to 4 is available, therefore its transitive 1 to 4 is also there. Then 1 to 3, 3 to 5, so 1 to 5 transitive, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, so 1 to 4, then 1 to 3, 3 to 5, therefore 1 to 5. This is the relation R. What they have asked? Matrix. First you have to write the relation, then only you can write the matrix MR. Then only you can write the matrix MR. So what are all the elements available? 1, 1, yes. 1, 2, yes. But 1, 3 is not there. 1, 4, 1, 5. Then while coming to 2, 2 1 is not there, 2 2, okay, 1 1 I have written, 1 2, 1 4, 1 5, then 2 2 I have written with 2 only, 2 to 4, so 2 to 3 is not there, 2 to 4, one element, that's all, okay, 1 1, 1 1, 1 2, even 1 3 is also there, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, all the elements, correct, it is related with everyone. Then 2 1 is not there, 2 2, yes, 2 to 4, correct, okay. Then with respect to 3, 3 3 is there, 3 5, so 3 3 is the third element, 3 5 is the last element, so 3 3, 3 5, only 4 4, 5 5 is left out, so this is 4 4, 5 5, this is the matrix of the given relation. So you can tick so that all the elements whether we have written or not we can check. So if a Hayes diagram is given, how to write the relation and whatever the is asked, previous problem they have asked digraph, here they are asking matrix, so you can do that one, okay. So Hayes diagram is given, what you have to do, first write all reflexive elements, then write whatever the elements available in the, this is edges available in the upward direction in the Hayes diagram, then write the proper transitive elements also, after that whatever they are asking properly you have to write it. So this is the most important topic, Hayes diagram, what we are seeing 90% there will be a problem on Hayes diagrams. So I am coming to the last idea of the 6th unit, which is called extremal elements. We have to find some extremal elements. What are all the extremal elements? Okay, see that extremal elements in posets. Consider a poset A R. We define below some special elements called extremal elements that may exist in capital A. You cannot say that extremal element always exists in the set capital A. Sometimes it may exist, sometimes it may not. Okay, so here you are going to find all the extremal elements which are existing in A. Now let us see one by one. First, maximal element. Maximal element. An element A, okay, an element small a belong to capital A is called a maximal element of capital A if there exists no element. If there exists no element x which is not equal to A in capital A such that A or x. What is the meaning of that? An element A belong to capital A is called a maximal element of capital A if there exists no element x which is equal to A such that A should be related to x. In other words, see, this is you have to write as a definition in the examination if they ask. Whatever we give in other words, I already told you, in problems it is easy to find the answers using this. One more point also I will show you. So in other words, A belong to A is a maximal element of A if whenever there is x belong to capital A such that A or x, then x is equal to A. Suppose here you see A or x, if it happens then it will be equal to A. Same way minimal element. What is the difference? Instead of A or x we should get x or A. Minimal element, an element A belong to capital A is called minimal element of A if there is no element such that x is related to A. Same way here also, x is related to A, then your x is equal to A. So this is as a definition we are giving, in other words. But how to find in problems, easiest way to calculate the maximal element and minimal element. How to find maximal element and minimal element in a diagram, Hayes diagram, this is the way. In simple words, A is a maximal element of capital A if and only if in the Hayes diagram of R no edge starts at A. In that element, from that element edge should not start. No edge starts at A, then it is called maximal element. What is minimal element? No edge terminates at that point. In other words, in the Hayes diagram, 99%, the topmost point will be or the maximal elements, the bottommost or the minimal elements. So no edge should start at A, which is called maximal element. No edge terminates at A, such an element A is called your minimal element. Then greatest element. An element A belong to capital A is called a greatest element of A if X is related to A for all X. See, please note the difference between maximal element, greatest element, minimal element, least element. Maximal element, no edge should starts from that element, that's all. Minimal element, no edge should terminate at that element, that's all. But greatest element, one element should be called as a greatest element. Apart from that element, remaining all elements must be related to that, either by transitive property, okay. So all the elements should be related to particular element, then that element is called greatest element. Similarly, from an element, the edges goes to all the elements, then such an element is called least element. Greatest element, it should have connection with all the elements, greatest element. Minimal element, sorry, least element. Least element means from that element you should have the connection for all the elements. You see that this is greatest element. An element A belong to capital A is called a greatest element of A if that element A topmost. So X or A for all X, all remaining elements in that set, it should be related to that one. Similarly, least element, an element A belong to A is called the least element of A if A or X, okay. So small a is related to X for all X belonging to capital A. An element is called a least element if element A, that element should be related to all the elements. So in the examples you can see very easily the ideas of all the four elements what we have defined, that is maximal element, minimal element, greatest element and least element. So in the following Hayes diagram, let us find all extremal elements. I will go to next slide next, but I will explain you in the diagram itself. You see that which are the maximal elements. See, 5 and 6 are the maximal elements because no edge starts from E5 as well as 6. Similarly, 1 is the minimal element because from 1, okay, all the edges starts but no edge ends at 1, therefore 1 is the minimal element. 5, 6, two maximal elements, 5 and 6 are the maximal elements but 1 is the minimal element. Then greatest element, this particular Hayes diagram does not consist of any greatest element. Why? See, suppose if I say 5 is the greatest element, then 5 and 6 are not related. Same way 6 is greatest element, 6 and 5 are not related, same idea. But remaining all other elements, 5 if I take 1 is related to 5 through 2, 4, 5, 2 is related to 5, 3 is also related to 5, 4 is related to 5 but 6 is not related. Similarly if I take 6, okay, 1 is related to 2, sorry 6, 2 is related, 3, 4 but 5 is not related, therefore no greatest element. What about least element? 1 is the least element because from 1 remaining elements 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 is a minimal element because remaining elements 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, all the elements are related to 1, 1 is related to all other elements, therefore it is minimal element. So the same thing I have put up, 5 and 6 are maximal elements because no edge starts at 5 and 6. 1 is the minimal element because no edge terminates at 1. No greatest element, that's what we said, because no element has connection with all the elements, but 1 is the least element because 1 is connected with all the elements. So maximal, minimal, no greatest, 1 is the least. One more Hayes diagram. Example, in the following Hayes diagram let us find all the extremal elements. One more Hayes diagram we took, but in this, which is the maximal element? 5 is the maximal element because no edge starts at 5. 1 is the minimal element, no edge terminates at 1. Same way 5 is the greatest element, 1 is the least element. How I am telling 5 is the greatest element? You see, all the elements, 1 is related to 5 through 2, 4 or 3, 5. Then 2 is related to 5, 3 is related to 5, 4 is also related to 5. So 5 is the greatest element. Similarly 1 is the least element. How I am telling? 1 is related to all other elements. 1 is related to 2, 3, 4 as well as 5. So 1 is related to all other elements, therefore 1 is the least element. 5 is the greatest element because other elements are related to 5. So 5 is the maximal element because no edge. 1 is the minimal element because no edge terminates at 1. Here starts at 5, terminates at 1. 5 is the greatest element because the element 5 has connection with all the elements. 1 is the least element because 1 is connected with all the elements, has connection with all elements, connected with all elements. So 5 and 1. Okay. Two more important concepts in this. One is upper bound, then least upper bound, then lower bound, greatest lower bound. What is meant by an upper bound? An element A belong to capital A is called an upper bound of a subset capital B of A if X is related to A for all X belong to B. One element should be an upper bound, but here one subset will also be given. We will be not asked just like greatest element or least element, you will not be asked for all the elements, you will be given on subset. You have to concentrate only on that subset. So an element A belong to capital A is called an upper bound of A subset B of A if every element in B should be related to that A, then that A is called upper bound. So an element in B should be related to A, all the elements in B should be related to that A, which is called upper bound. Suppose you have too many upper bounds, then an element which has connection with all upper bounds is called least upper bound. So an element A belong to capital A is called the least upper bound, LUB, okay, of a subset capital B of A if the following two conditions holds. What is the condition? A is an upper bound of capital B. A is an upper bound of capital B, first condition. Other than A, suppose A dash is an upper bound of B, then your A should be related to that A dash. Then only you can call the small a as least upper bound. See, we are following the terminologies given in Grimaldi textbook, that is our textbook. So in that textbook LUB is also known as supremum, one word is given supremum. Supremum means least upper bound. So A is a least upper bound. What is the condition? First A must be an upper bound. Any other element is an upper bound of that particular set B, then this A should be related to that A dash, then it is called LUB or supremum. Opposite to this is called GLB, before that lower bound, greatest lower bound. So what is a lower bound? An element A is called a lower bound of a subset capital B of A if that A is related to elements in B. What is the difference? You see that here all the elements in X must be related to that A. All the, suppose B set is given one element, all the elements of this B should be related to that element A, then it is called upper bound. Now reverse process, the element will come down. So that element, one element, it should be related to all elements in B. Such an element is called lower bound. So an element A is called a lower bound of a subset capital B of A if this element A should be related to all elements of B. Suppose there are same way too many lower bounds. Okay, so an element A belonging to capital A is called the greatest lower bound GLB of a subset capital B of A if the following two conditions hold. What are the two conditions? A is a lower bound of B. If A dash is a lower bound of B, then your A dash should be related to A. There in least upper bound what we said, one more element A dash is an upper bound, then your A should be related to A dash. Your A dash should be related to A. Then GLB is also known as infimum, greatest lower bound, in other words known as infimum. Supremum LUB, infimum GLB. Clear? So lot many times in the exam one Hayes diagram will be given, from that a particular set will be given, you are asked to find all these elements. First let me see an example. For the following Hayes diagram, find the LUB and GLB for B1 and B2, the sets, where B1 is 1, 2, B2 is 3, 4, 5. Separately also I have taken the sets, you see 1, 2, it is not related here, but just we have written 1, 2. Similarly 3, 4, 5, that is one more set B2. Before that, what we told in the previous section, maximal element, minimal element, greatest element, least element, whether all those things exist or not in this Hayes diagram you can see. So 8 is a maximal element, 1 and 2 are the minimal elements, but 8 is the greatest element, no least elements, no least element, because 1 and 2 is not related, so no least element. Coming back to this LUB and GLB, for the sets 1, 2, I will give the explanation but you see very clearly 1, 2, see what are all the upper bounds, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, all these are upper bounds, all these are upper bounds, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because 1 is related to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 is also related to it. So entire elements in the set B1 are related to these elements, but which is the greatest lower bound? 3, because 3 is related to 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are upper bounds, out of that 3 is the least upper bound. See the explanation? 1 and 2 related to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hence 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are the upper bounds of B1. The upper bound 3 is related to all other upper bounds. Hence 3 is the LUB of B1. We write LUB of B1 is equal to 3. What about least greatest lower bound? No. If in A there is no element X such that X is related XR1 and XR2, therefore B1 has no lower bounds, hence B1 has no GLB. Okay, in this B1 has no GLB because I will show you, sorry, because see 1, 2 is the lowest elements, no element below this is related to this 1, 2. So what is meant by lower bounds? It should come below this 1, 2, no elements are there. What are upper bounds? Above this. Okay, so for this set 1, 2 you have least upper bound 3 but no greatest lower bounds. Whereas take the set 3, 4, 5, second set 3, 4, 5, for this set 6, 7, 8 are the least upper bound, sorry, upper bounds, sorry, 3, 4, 5 are related to 6, 7, 8, hence 6, 7, 8 are upper bounds of B2, but there is no upper bound is related to other upper bounds, hence no LUB, correct? See this, see the set 3, 4, 5, for this 6, 7, 8 are the upper bounds. So within these 3 upper bounds 6, 7, 8, any one of the upper bounds should be related to other 2. If I take 6 it is related to 8 but not to 7, if I take 7 it is not to 6 but 8, therefore no upper bounds. When it comes to lower bound and greatest lower bound, 3 condition less than or equal to, then for any x comma y belong to this n, we note that LUB of x comma y is nothing but maximum of those 2 elements, GLB is nothing but minimum of those 2 elements, and both these elements belong to capital N. Therefore, the poset N less than or equal to is a lattice. I think able to understand. Less than or equal to is the condition I have chosen. It is natural numbers. Natural numbers means 1, 2, 3, etc. Correct. So in natural numbers, what is the partial order set relation we have defined? It is less than or equal to. Then if I take 2 elements in n, what is its LUB? It will be maximum of those 2 elements. 2, 3, 3 is going to be the maximal. That is nothing but LUB. Same 2, 3, 2 is minimum, which is going to be GLB. Because it has relations and all those things with less than or equal to every, because if I am taking maximum 2, 3, 3, it will be related to all other elements. 3 is related to 3 is less than or equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that we can tell. Therefore, LUB is nothing but maximum, GLB is nothing but minimum. So in my notes I have given a little number of problems also to work on this. Now finally I am gisting out the entire 2 units what I have taught you, relations and functions. Starting from cross product we have taken cross product, from cross product I got relation definition, from relation I got the definition of function. So for all these, until you are seeing, until the end of the topic, you are seeing cross product is the main part of the unit. So I got function, then different types of functions. Out of that, on and on functions are the most important one. Different types of functions, flooring and ceiling functions, computer science application problems are there in that, flooring and ceiling functions. Then we move on to the most important parts called pigeonhole principle, then composition of functions, invertible functions for BE students, which constitutes the 5th unit. Same way for MCA students also. Then we move on to the 6th unit, which starts with 1 and 0 matrix. A relation can be represented in a matrix with 1 and 0s. Lot of properties on that. You can find union of relations, union of that matrices, union of that one relations, then intersection of relations, composition, whatever we have done in the 5th unit. Similar ideas we have used in the 6th unit. We have used composition, we have used union, we have used intersection. But which are the most important parts of this unit means partial order set. Before partial order, what are all the properties of relations? Reflexive relation, anti-reflexive or irreflexive, symmetry, anti-symmetry, then transitive. An equivalence relation which consists of 3, reflexive, symmetry, transitive. Then from that, what is an equivalence class? We have done. After that we move on to the partial order. In partial order, same 3 kind of things you have to verify: reflexive, anti-symmetry and transitive. Partial order, that partial order set along with the relation is called poset. For the poset, very important concept called Hayes diagram. How to draw the Hayes diagram? Digraph is different, Hayes diagram is different. In digraph you can see the reflexive elements, transitive elements all, but in Hayes diagram such things will not be there. Remove all reflexive elements, remove transitive elements, you give the Hayes diagram in the upward direction. Finally in today's class we have seen all maximal elements, maximal element, minimal element, greatest element, least element. After that 2 important concepts, one is called least upper bound and greatest lower bound. This constitute 2 units. Prepare well. Thank you very much. 5 set. See here, be careful, this 3 is also an upper bound, lower bound. The lower bound, it may be in that set, it may not be in the set. We are not bothered about it. So this is 3. Okay, 3 is also a lower bound. See that for each x belong to A, we have 1 or x, hence 1 is the lower bound. Similarly 2 and 3 are lower bounds. The lower bounds 1 and 2 are related to the lower bound 3, hence 3 is GLB. Is it clear? 1 is lower bound, similarly 2 and 3 are also lower bounds. So the lower bound 1 and 2 are related to 3, hence 3 is the greatest lower bound. Don't get any confusions, be careful in analyzing. One more problem, consider the Hayes diagram of the poset A, R given below. What is the question? If B is equal to CDE, find if they exist, all upper bounds, least upper bound, all lower bounds, greatest lower bound of this particular set B. What is B? CDE. CDE. First I will show you the explanation. CDE are related to FGH, which are all upper bounds, but F is related to other, therefore LUB becomes F. What about GLB? ABC are related to FGH, hence ABC are lower bounds. The lower bound A and B of B is related to C, hence it is greatest lower bound is C. How it occurs? Let us go to the diagram. So which is the set CDE? See this, the CDE, it is the set given to us. What are all the upper bounds? F, G, H are the upper bounds of CDE. Among these 3 upper bounds, F is related to G, F is related to H. So one upper bound which is related to other 2 upper bounds. Therefore this is the least upper bound, that is what I have shown. Similarly for the set CDE, A, B, C are the least lower bounds. A, B, C are the lower bounds, but A and B is related to C, therefore C become greatest lower bound, correct? See that C is the greatest lower bound. Same way one more diagram, same set CDE here also. Consider the Hayes diagram of the poset A, R given below. So same question I think, yes. If CDE, find if they exist, all upper bounds of B, the least upper bound of B, all lower bounds of B, the greatest lower bound of B. Explanation, CDE are related to E of G, here E also includes, E of G are the upper bounds. The upper bound E is related to others, therefore LUB is E. Same way by examining all upward paths to CDE, we find GLB is A, because only one exists. Let us see that. Again the set CDE, now E, F, G are the upper bounds. Out of that E is related to F, E is related to G, therefore E is the least upper bound. What about greatest lower bounds? When it comes to lower bounds, please note that for CDE, A is the lower bound as well as greatest lower bound. A is the lower bound as well as the greatest lower bound. That is what they said. By examining all upward path CDE, we find that GLB is A. So which is an important question, Many times in the exam we have seen this Hayes diagram or this one. Many times in the exam these 2 questions are repeated. Finally, I want to show you some theoretical results based on this extremal elements. What is the statement theorem we call? If A, R is a poset and A is finite, that means non-empty, then A has at least one maximal element and at least one minimal element. Please note that greatest element it may not be existing, least element may not be existing, okay, but maximal element, minimal element must exist, because there will be one element at the top, which has no edge starts. Similarly, one element at the bottom from which the edge will not end. Okay. So how we will prove? Let us take one element if A is not maximal. If it is not maximal, what happens if it is not maximal? We find one more element which has the edge. Okay. So we can find an element x1 such that x1 not equal to A, but your A is related to that x1. Okay. If x1 is not maximal, again see, I have taken an element A is not maximal. If A is not maximal, I can find one element x1 such that this A is related to x1. Similarly, suppose this x1 is not maximal, I can find one more element x2 such that x1 is related to x2. Okay, like that the chain goes. A is not maximal, x1 is not maximal, x2, x3, like that it moves. But the chain cannot be infinite because the set is finite, capital A is finite. So proceeding like this, we end up with a finite chain of the form. This is the chain we get, which cannot be extended beyond a certain final stage because F is finite. Hence we end up with some xk which is a maximal element of A. Thus A has at least one maximal element. Able to follow that? So one element A, it is not maximal, take x1 which is not one edge will be there. X1, it is not maximal, one more element. It is not maximal, x2, one more element. If it moves like this, since it is a finite set, I have to end up with one finite element, final element. That element is definitely, it is a maximal element. Similar argument shows that A has at least one minimal element. What I should say? There is an element A which is not minimal. If it is not minimal, I can find one more element x1, that one more element x1, okay, that is related to this. Like that if you goes on moving it, then finally you are end up with one element at the downwards. Therefore which is minimal element. So a similar argument shows that A has at least one minimal element. What is the next theorem? Every poset has at most one greatest element and at least one least element. Poset means what? It has reflexive property, antisymmetry and transitive. In other words, partial order with the relation R. So what they are telling? Every poset has at most, please note that, there at least, that means more than one maximal element it can exist. In our first example, I have shown you there are two maximal elements, but one minimal element. So in previous theorem, at least we should have minimum one maximal element. So more than one we can have. Minimal one minimal element. Here be carefully watch the theorem. It shall at most one greatest element. There will be only one greatest element, maximum. It may occur, may not. So at most one greatest element and at least one least element. Same way, be careful. Assume that A and B are greatest elements. There are two greatest elements. Okay, what we can say, two greatest element A and B. You assume one is the greatest element and another is some element. Another is some element. Definitely this A must be related to this B. A and B, two maximas, two greatest elements I took. I am assuming B is the greatest element. So A is some element, it should be related to B. So A related to B. Vice versa argument. Since A is the greatest element and B is some element, definitely this B is related to A. What I got? A is related to B, B is related to A, and R is a poset. Therefore antisymmetric relation exists. What a antisymmetric relation says? A related to B, B related to A, then A should be equal to B. Therefore which gives solution like we have at most one greatest element. See this same arguments. Then since B is greatest element, we have A related to B. Similarly, A is the greatest element, we have B related to A. Thus, A is related to B, B is related to A. Since R is an symmetric relation, it follows that A is equal to B. Therefore, thus two greatest elements of A comma R, if such exist, cannot be different. So if A comma R has a greatest element, then that element is unique, equal. Thus A comma R has at most one greatest element. Others you have to prove the similar arguments. So a similar argument shows that A comma R has at most one least element. Same way you take, you will get, you assume two least elements, one is related to other is related to next one, therefore both should be equal by antisymmetry, therefore A is equal to B, it has one least element. I think last theorem, if A comma R is a poset and a subset B contained in A, then B has at most one LUB and at most one GLB. You can have at most one LUB, at most one GLB, that's all. In previous examples I have shown you some sets they don't have even LUB, some set they don't have GLB, so that's why they use at most. Okay, so assume that A and B are two LUBs of B, then A and B are upper bounds. Here also same thing, you assume B is an upper bound, A is an LUB, same argument what I have given in the previous theorem. A and B, two LUBs, you assume one is LUB, another is UB, upper bound, then automatically this A is related to B. Then A is an upper bound, B is least upper bound, then automatically B is related to A. You have assumed two upper bounds, but out of that definitely it should be, two least upper bounds, both of it must be upper bounds. Okay, so then A and B upper bounds of B, since B is an upper bound, A is LUB, you have A related to B. Similarly, A is an upper bound, B is a LUB, therefore B is related to A. Use symmetry idea, antisymmetry idea. Since R is antisymmetric, it follows that A is equal to B. So if A is equal to B, automatically the least upper bound is 1. Correct? So automatically, hence B cannot have two distinct LUBs. This means that B has at most one LUB. Same arguments, that's what it is told. A similar argument shows that B has at most one GLB. What you have to do, assume A and B, two GLBs. Then A and B are lower bounds, simply changes in the sentences, lower bounds. One is a lower bound, another is GLB, therefore automatically related. Similarly, since one is upper bound, one is lower bound and another is GLB, therefore related. By antisymmetry property, A is equal to B, so it has one. A similar argument shows that B has at most one GLB. The very last idea of this unit, just a definition and an example. Let A comma R be a poset. This poset is called lattice if for all x comma y belong to A, the elements LUB of x comma y and GLB of x comma y exist in capital A. See the last definition of this unit, lattice. What is a lattice? First of all, it is a poset. A comma R is a poset. This poset is called a lattice for every two elements in capital A, you must get one GLB and one LUB. It should have LUB and GLB. Then such a set is called lattice. So from partial order is nothing but with the relation poset, from poset Hayes diagram, similarly from poset again to the lattice through LUB and GLB. If I take two elements and those two elements must give one LUB and GLB, then such a set I can call it as lattice. What is the example I can give? Consider the set of consider the set of n natural numbers capital N and R be the partial order